When it's not super hot outside, but it's not quite fall, it's sometimes hard to know what fragrances to wear. So I am going to share 20 of my summer to fall transition fragrances with you guys. Hello, my gorgeous friends. Welcome to Alicia Budget Beauty. My name is Alicia. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, fragrance recommendations, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. All right, you guys, these are some of my favorite type of videos because A, we are talking about fragrance and I get to share a bunch of my collection with you guys. And B, this is actually a collab with my two beauty and fragrance friends, Cara and Kelly. I wish that I had a K name so we could be Cara, Kelly, and Kalisha or something like that. But no, I don't have the alliteration in my name. But these two lovely ladies are so sweet. They're so talented. They have amazing personalities. They have a wonderful fragrance collection. They have lots of fragrance knowledge. Cara, you guys, she is so funny when she does her videos with her sister. They are some of my favorite to watch. They will get in like a discovery set and they will smell them together and they're so honest and hilarious. They bounce off of each other. Those are some of my favorite videos of hers. Kelly has such a soothing voice to me. I don't think I've ever told her this, but sometimes I just put her on so I can just listen and kind of like be zen. I love her voice. I love her fragrance collection. She also has an awesome eyeshadow collection, eyeshadow singles. They are both two very worthy people that you guys should be following. Love them to death. So thankful that they're doing this video with me. Please, please, please go watch their video and subscribe to them as well. But as far as me, I do have 20 to share with you guys today. I think Kelly, last I talked to her, she was doing 10. I'm not sure how many Cara's doing. I told Kelly, I'm like, I know myself and I will try to edit and I'll probably have 20. And I did. I kept myself at 20. I could have included even more than that, but these are the 20 that I decided to narrow down and share with you guys today. So let's go ahead and get into these transition fragrances. Now, real quick, as far as what I'm looking for in a transition fragrance summer to fall, I want something that is starting to bring a little bit of coziness, a little bit of comfort. You know, it's not too aquatic and watery. It has maybe some spices, but not too heavy. I want some little bit thicker and grounded. If I'm gonna have something that's gourmand, I don't want it to be too heavy gourmand, but it was maybe a little too heavy for summer. Things like this, I'll explain why I chose what I did as I go, but that's just to kind of give you a little idea. So the very first one that I want to talk about is a favorite of mine, and it is newer to my collection. This is Liam by Lattafa. This also happens to be a dupe for BDK's Gris Charnel. And also, you guys, this is a case where the dupe is better than the original. I was really excited to try it because it is a fig and tea fragrance, and I love me a fig and tea fragrance. And I was a little bit let down by the sample of the original. I thought it's pretty, but it's not blowing me away. It didn't have extremely strong projection. The longevity was like so-so. And then I saw some people talking about this being a really worthy dupe, and I grabbed it. And you guys, the bottle itself is gorgeous. It's a very luxurious looking, very unisex looking, maybe slightly masculine. This is a unisex fragrance, and I think it's perfectly unisex. And what you have here in the top notes are some of my absolute favorite notes. You have fig and black tea. You also have cardamom. And then in the mid, you have some powdery iris. It's not too powdery, just ever so slightly. You have some labdanum. And then you also in the base have some tonka and some sandalwood. So this is a very comforting, beautiful, you guys, it's blended beautifully. It's woody, but like a soft woods. I would classify this as a soft woods fragrance. And then of course that tea and the fig in here. It is so gorgeous. It's perfect on a man or a woman, to be honest. And I love these type of fragrances going into fall because this you could absolutely continue to wear into fall and even into winter as well. But it has a sort of like comfort and lightness to it where it's not too much for, you know, an end of summer, beginning of fall fragrance. It is so stunning, you guys. I recommended this to my friend Sarah. I sent her a sample actually, and she immediately ordered it in, and now it's one of her favorites. I highly, highly recommend this. It is super cheap too. We're talking like $20 for this gorgeous bottle, and it just performs so well. It is longer lasting than the original. Absolutely, highly, highly recommend this fragrance to you guys. The next one I have here for you guys, I have a video on this one and its little sister fragrance. That one is a little sweeter than this one. This is Ruby, the other one is called Jewel, and this is by Avery. She is a TikTok influencer and works very closely with Aroma Concepts, a Middle Eastern fragrance company that I have videos on as well. And I think this is a perfect transition fragrance. Oh, so good. And honestly, it's really good for fall as well. This is juicy and bright in the opening. You have some fruity notes here, and in the mid, you have some rose and jasmine. And then you also have some sugary sandalwood in the base. So it's a perfect, in my opinion, date night fragrance for summer to fall. You know, I'm thinking right now, our weather, it's about in the 70s, maybe the 60s in the evenings. It's a perfect date night fragrance for this kind of transition time because it's not one of your really deep, sexy, rich, dark date night type of fragrances. It's more of a kind of lightly mysterious, still has a little bit of like peppiness with some fruitiness, so it's not too heavy, but there is an allure to this. There is a depth to this that I think is perfect going into fall. Really, really beautiful fragrance. Another one that's really affordable, and then the bottle is gorgeous. I'm realizing now I have a lot of affordable fragrances in here, which is great because I'm all about that. But I will get into some that are a little bit more expensive. But this is another affordable one. This is a Jessica Simpson Fancy. My hair is cray-cray. Okay, you guys, people were not kidding about this fragrance. I completely ignored all the hubbub about it. I thought, whatever, you know, I mean, the person who has Britney Spears and Ariana Grande perfumes coming out the rear, but I just thought, oh, celebrity fragrance, you know, Jessica Simpson, whatever. You guys, this is a gorgeous fragrance. Now, off the top, it is not my favorite. That's why I just sprayed it so I can let it kind of sit for a minute, and that's where it really gets into the good stuff. The top has some fruity notes that I don't love, like apricot. It's just a note that I really, really struggle with. But very quickly, this dries into a gorgeous almond vanilla that is just beautiful. And the first day that I wore this, sprayed it on and was kind of like, oh, that's what I thought. People are overblowing this, not that great. I remember I walked outside, my kids were doing something in the driveway and the wind was hitting me. And I was like, oh my gosh, what the heck smells so good? And then I realized it was me, and then I could not stop smelling my arm. This is for anyone that is looking for the perfect almond vanilla that is not too almond extracty and then also not too heavy on the vanilla. It is a perfect marriage of the two. It is powdery in an almond way, not a baby powdery way. And then it has the perfect warmth in the base that just makes a beautiful sillage around you. Honestly, people will compliment you with this fragrance. And I just think it's a perfect, it's a little cozy. And so that's why in the summertime, not that you can't wear something cozy in the summertime, but I look for more energetic fragrances, more punchy, you know, or like aquatic and fresh. And this is just has a little bit of that cozy element, but it's not too heavy either. So it's perfect for this time of year. And that is Jessica Simpson's Fancy. Now, refuting what I just said about apricot, this is a fragrance that does have some apricot in it that I actually love. And it's very affordable. Once again, this is Britney Spears Naked Fantasy Naked bottle. So pretty. I love my fantasy bottles. I love how they look. And honestly, they're just my little treasures. So this one surprised me. because before I decided to really go full force collecting the fantasy fragrances and the flankers, I didn't think that I would like this one because I'm like, oh, apricot, I don't know. But you guys, this is really, really pretty. In the opening, you have Applejack, this kind of ever so subtly liqueur scent, and black currant. You have osmanthus in the mid, which is an apricot-like smelling flower. And then you also have the vanilla musk and apricot in the base. And so really, I don't get the typical apricot scent out of this that I don't really enjoy in other fragrances. This is very soft and subtle, just a little bit like an apricot skin, just a little bit of the soft fuzz. And then basically it's a kind of a musky vanilla dry down. So it's a very subtly fruity vanilla musk is what this is. And it's really, really pretty. It's kind of a skin scent, but I think it's another one that is, you know, not this super heavy gourmandy vanilla, but it has just enough of the soft fruits on the top that is a perfect little transition fragrance. And it's very affordable and very, very pretty. Okay, now I get to do one that is a newer one to me. I've not talked about on my channel, haven't seen anyone talking about them. This is a Sydney Grace fragrance. If you don't know Sydney Grace, it is actually a makeup brand that I featured on my channel. I love their eyeshadows. I have lots and lots of palettes, lots of singles. And during their Christmas in July sale, they had come out with some new fragrances and skincare products and things like that. And so I went ahead and grabbed a few. This is actually my favorite of the three that I grabbed. This is Eternal. And the notes are right here. It's amber, vanilla, patchouli, musk, and sandalwood. You guys, okay, for my patchouli haters out there, and you guys know a lot of times I'm one of them, I don't really smell patchouli in this. The only thing that patchouli really does in this is I think makes it last a little bit longer than the other two fragrances that I bought from Sydney Grace. This is the longest lasting of those three. So that's the only thing that patchouli is doing in here. The rest of this is like a light, crisp cinnamon cookie. Not a really dense, overly sweet, overly gourmand, you know, cookie. It's more of like a skin scent cookie scent. It is so pretty and really, really surprised me. Almost has like a snickerdoodle-esque scent to it, but it's not too cloying. It's not too heavy, like I said. It is really, really gorgeous. It is unlike any skin scent that I own. You know, I've got milky skin scents. I have really clean skin scents, sort of cottony skins. It's like if your skin scent is a cookie. It is so pretty. Probably one of the most like just hidden gems that I have tried lately because like I said, I've seen nobody talking about Sydney Grace's fragrances. I kind of want the excuse just to wear it no matter what, but I do think it's a perfect kind of transition. It'll go perfectly into fall. So that is Eternal by Sydney Grace. You guys definitely need to grab this one. Okay, you guys, this next one is so freaking good. This is Alt Fragrance's Bohemian Water. It is supposed to be a dupe or inspired by Gypsy Water by Byredo. You guys, this is so freaking good. This is citrusy, done in such a sweet, smooth, easy, breezy sort of way it's sort of like a fall sort of citrusy fragrance. So it does have like, you know, an element of brightness in it that you would get from a summer citrus. But then in the mid, you have some pine and you have some orris root. So it brings in a little bit of that kind of crisp freshness and a little bit of powderiness from the orris root. Is sort of violet flower-like. And then in the base, you have some sandalwood, some vanilla, and some musk. And it is absolutely stunning. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance that I think is very, very, very underrated. The performance on this is great. I have not tried the original, but from everything that I've heard is that the original, people love Byredo. You know, they love their fragrances, but they perform very, very poorly, and they're very expensive. This has great lasting power. It's very affordable. It is such a delicious fragrance. It's one that for me, when it's on my skin, it gets even better and better over time. Like an hour or two later, I'm just like, man, it's really developed. It's not that it goes on and it fades, and no, it's so good over time. Love it. And actually, while I'm at it, I'm just gonna bring up another one that's in this lineup here, because I kind of accidentally combined these the other day, and it was so good, and you wouldn't think they'd really go together. But this is Skylar's Boardwalk Delight. I actually have another bottle that has a bigger dent than this one, but Boardwalk Delight, you know, was super, super popular when it came out because it was this sugary cotton candy, kind of toasty fragrance that really smells like, you know, confection sugar going on all around you. It's a gorgeous little fragrance. For some, it's a little too sweet. The way that these combined, when I accidentally sprayed them kind of on top of each other the other day, was magic. It was this citrusy, sugary cloud around me that was kind of toasty and very comforting and not too sweet, a little bit fresh somehow, very, very smooth. Oh my goodness. I never expected these two to go together, but they really, really do. Beautiful together. And the reason why I chose this one is Boardwalk Delight, in my opinion, is more of a fall fragrance, even though it came out in the summertime a couple of years ago and everyone picks it as a summer fragrance. To me, it's a little too sweet for summer, and then it has this sort of like toasty quality to it, like a sugared nut to it. And so I just think of, oh, we're getting into some, you know, holiday time. But it does have enough lightness and, you know, sugariness that I can see it being like end of summer. So I think it's a perfect end of summer to fall fragrance. And then I'm telling you, these two together, for whatever reason, are magic. Okay, this next one, you guys, is a beast. This is a beastie fragrance. It is so, so good. This is by Dua Fragrances. They do a bunch of dupes inspired by, and then they also have their own formulations. This one happens to be a dupe of Byron Perfume's Mula Mula Rouge Extreme. So a much more expensive niche fragrance. This is a berry bomb, an absolute berry bomb. So this cherry, strawberry, raspberry, caramel. It has, the base is sandalwood, patchouli. It also has some vanilla and ginger. So it's just a berry bomb. It's very kind of bright and bubbly. It almost, to me, smells like a sangria with a splash of champagne with a little bit of that like earthy sandalwood and patchouli in the base, and the patchouli in this is totally fine. It does not bother me. It does not smell dirty. It just smells like a very strong, dense, and going to last extrait perfume like this is. And to me, this is a little bit heavy for the daytime, a little too heavy for, you know, straight summertime, but this is a perfect transition and evening fragrance. If you have smelled In Love with Everything by Imaginary Authors, that one is a raspberry, sandalwood, patchouli scent with champagne. And this is very, very similar. They're not identical, but they are similar. And if you like the In Love with Everything, you will absolutely love this fragrance. They only had it in a travel when I got it, and I was like, oh, I want this in a full size. It is so freaking good. If you love a strong berry scent and you want it to really, really last and be more of like an evening fragrance, this is absolutely it. Berry Delight Extreme by Dua. All right, this next one is definitely a beastie fragrance. It is very strong, very long lasting. This is Manera's Roses Vene. And I think this was my first Manera. I'm almost positive. And I found this whenever I was just searching for long-lasting beast mode fragrances. And then I went down a Manera and Montal wormhole. They are sister brands, and a lot of them are known to be very, very powerful, very strong fragrances. This one took me a minute to love as much as I do. And this is a pretty beloved fragrance. I mean, they kind of have a cult following. People either really, really love Montal and Manera or they really dislike them. I have several of their fragrances, and I'm actually kind of someone in between. I've smelled some I love, I've smelled some I don't love. But this is a very unique rose like I had never smelled before. You have some Italian lemon on the top, and then you have a very, very strong rose mid, and then you have some vanilla cedar in the base. And it's kind of addicting, this fragrance, to me. I wasn't sure what I was smelling when I first smelled it, because it was very different to my nose. I had never smelled rose like this. It almost has a tobacco sort of element to it. I mean, there's no tobacco listed in this. I wouldn't say, oh, this smells just like tobacco, but it has this sort of sweetness that tobacco gives, and almost like a plumminess to it, even though there's no plum in here. So it's really beautiful. It's very, very long lasting. It's not, you know, too heavy for, I'd say, like a 60 degree, 70 degree day. Super hot summertime, it is too heavy. And then I do think this works as it gets a little bit cooler as well. I wouldn't say it's really a winter fragrance though, since it does have that sort of bright citrus at the top. I think it's a perfect kind of into fall, end of summer fragrance. Even as I'm smelling it right now, I can't stop smelling it. It's such a unique fragrance to my nose, but really, really like it. I think if you want to dabble in niche too, this is a perfect way to do it, because it's not too expensive and it's not too out there and weird. So that is Roses Vene by Manera. All right, you guys, this I think is a very underrated and just hidden gem fragrance. This is Laura Mercier's Almond Coconut. Number one, somehow I missed the boat and didn't even know that Laura Mercier does fragrance, and apparently she has for years. Never knew. I only knew it as a beauty brand, makeup brand. I saw this randomly at TJ Maxx a while back and was like, it was in the case. It's like, it wasn't that expensive. I think it was $20, and I just blind bought it. You guys, I wore this again the other day, and it was even better than the first time to me. This, I think, is, I'm like, did no one talk about this possibly being a Bianco Latte dupe? Like, not exactly, but there's a lot of dupes of Bianco Latte out there, and I have a few of them. And this is really, really similar. This one kind of reminds me a bit of a new one by Paris Corner that I did a review on, the Vue Patisserie. It's sort of like that, but not quite as gourmand as that one. So what this basically is like it's like a little airy almond cookie with just a little bit of coconut flakes on top. Very, very simply, that's what I get out of this. It's really, really pretty, and it is a very comforting fragrance as well. I wore this to bed the other night, and I was just obsessed with how I smelled. I was like, I feel like I'm just going to bed, laying on a very fluffy, airy almond cookie and I just pulled a little coconut flake over as my blanket. Very, very pretty fragrance. In my coconut haters out there, it's definitely more almond than it is coconut by far. So if you guys see this, I highly recommend grabbing it. It is Almond Coconut by Laura Mercier. Okay, speaking of TJ Maxx and a find, I found this the other day. This is Pine Parfait by Lon Gourmand. Now, I have a whole bunch of Lon Gourmand fragrances. I keep promising I'm gonna do this video one day. I've got a ton, I've got over 20. I've grabbed a lot of them from TJ Maxx, and this is a harder one to find. It's a little bit more obscure. You guys, this is really, really good. I think it's one of my absolute favorites. You have some great grapefruit in here, some oak moss, some rum, and then you also have some caramel. So, and rose in here, and neroli. So it sounds a little crazy, but it absolutely works. I can smell a little bit of that bright grapefruit, but then you have this sort of woody earthiness to it, and then some like smooth silky caramel. It's very lovely. Sounds like a mess, but it absolutely works. Not the longest lasting perfume. It's not expensive. I got mine for $12.99 at TJ Maxx. I highly recommend that you grab it if that sounds intriguing at all to you, and if you believe that this could smell good, I recommend you grab it. All right, you guys, this is a delicious gourmand that to me kind of says carnival. So it is getting really into fall, but like our fair hits here basically very end of summer going into fall. So that's just what this reminds me of. This is Gavin Luxe Untitled. And what it actually is inspired by the new Cirque du Soleil fragrance that came out. And a lot of people were just clamoring for that one. The bottle was gorgeous. I wanted it, but it was just, it's really expensive. It got pretty good reviews. It is a carnival in a bottle, you guys. You have some apple at the top. You have some bergamot. So it's a little bit bright, a little bit crisp, tart apple in the top. But then you have some butter and popcorn and cotton candy and freesia and vanilla and sandalwood. You guys, it is so delicious. It's basically everything that you smell around you at a carnival, at a fair, in a bottle. And that's what the Cirque was trying to get, was like the experience of being in the show and the smells around you, the things that you would be eating in like a, like a circus. It's very lovely. Such a yummy gourmand. I think her bottles are really pretty, much cheaper than the original. This is limited edition. I think at the point I'm doing this, she still has this available with 2 other limited editions. If not, I'm so sorry. Maybe she'll end up bringing it out. I think it's a perfect one, honestly, going into fall. I wish she'd make it permanent, but if you can get your hands on this and you love a circusy kind of gourmand fragrance, oh my gosh, you have to try it. And then her other fragrances are really good too. So I suggest you check out Gavin Luxe, and this is Untitled. Okay, this is another gourmand fragrance, but I think it's light enough that it's not too much for the transition season. So this is Perfume di Firenze's Buontalenti. And this I found quite a while back because I was looking specifically for banana fragrances. And this is one of the first ones that popped up. Now, I have several banana fragrances now. I'm going to talk about another one here in a minute. And for the most part, the different types that I have found have either been very gourmand, sort of banana bread, baked banana, or like a liqueur, an alcoholic banana, or they've been a Laffy Taffy, or a sunscreeny scent with banana in it. And this one is gourmand, but I find this one very light. It's on the verge of being banana bread, but it has other elements and it has other notes. Like it does have coconut, it does have apple, it has cookie and milk. And so it kind of, to me, smells more like a banana cookie. So not a baked banana bread, but like a banana cookie that actually specifically ones that we used to give our kids when they were little. There's a Gerber's banana cookie that this really reminds me of. And it's like you just dipped it a little bit in your milk, sort of like graham crackery. It's really pretty, and I don't think it's so heavy that, you couldn't wear it in some kind of warmer weather. I think this is a warmer weather appropriate gourmand, but it also works for colder weather as well. I really like it. Not the strongest lasting power, but it's interesting enough and it's banana-y enough to where I was really happy with this purchase. So that is Perfume di Firenze's Buontalenti. Okay, this next one, I had a whole video on the line, the new Noise, N-O-Y-Z, fragrances. This one is Day, is what this one's called. And I really, really love this fragrance a lot. Is it for everyone? Maybe not, but you guys, to me, this is a comfort scent. This is very aromatic. You have some lavender and eucalyptus in here. You have coriander. You also have fig, so I've already said, you know, like when you have lavender and you have fig and those sort of aromatics in there, that's already gonna say, oh, it's really comforting. It's a little bit woody, but not too dense. So I think it is a perfect transition fragrance. This is very, very unisex in my opinion. I think this is one of the best ones. I know a lot of people really love a Mute. I like that fragrance, but it's not my favorite out of all of them. Honestly, Lost and Found is my favorite. I almost put it in this video, but I'm gonna save it, I think, for a different video in the future. But I think this is the ultimate transition one because it does have these woody elements, it does have these comforting elements, but it's also not like a spicy fragrance. If you're looking for a zen, aromatic, comforting, woody, but not too masculine fragrance, I would highly, highly recommend this one, and it is Day by Noise. All right, I mentioned there would be another banana fragrance in here, and this is Summertime by Pink Mahogany. And this is, I mean, the name is Summertime. So it's definitely marketed, and she created it to be a very summer fragrance. In my opinion, this is, gosh, so good. It's such a good into fall fragrance because yes, it does have banana in here and it has some elements that made her think of summertime, but it's also a very boozy fragrance. It has a port wine in here. So it really smells like a cinnamon banana, very, very ripe, that is, you know, lit on fire like a flambe and just drizzled with your port wine. So it's a very gourmand, but I think it's also very wearable too. It's quite delicious. I mean, maybe someone would want to like bite your neck if you're wearing it. But I think because of that port wine, it gives sort of an evening feel to it. And it sort of gives like a little bit of an allure. And I just think, oh, it's like a perfect, like sun is going down. You're in a really gorgeous gown and you're like, I want to smell kind of sweet and, you know, like a little bit foodie if you love a banana note, but kind of sexy at the same time. I think this is a perfect fragrance for it. It is so, so yummy. I got this as a sample in my olfactive subscription and I immediately was like, I need a full bottle right away. So I grabbed it. It is limited edition. So if you're thinking about getting it, I would get it pretty quick. That's Summertime by Pink Mahogany. All right, this next one is a very, very sweet fragrance. This is Lolita Limpica's Sweet. I love the little bottle though. I think it's so pretty. This is a very sugary, sweet cherry fragrance. It also has some iris in it, so it's a little bit powdery. It kind of reminds me of like a cherry bubble gum. Not that it really smells like bubble gum, but that powder on the gum wrapper and then that really tart, sweet cherry. So I think this is fun. It's not my favorite all the time, but if I'm really wanting something sweet and juicy, not anything too complicated, I would reach for this. And it's a little too sweet for summertime, so I think it's kind of perfect in this transition time. I like Lolita Limpica's fragrances though. They're very, very affordable. You can get them on FragranceNet for a really, really good price. And this one is called Sweet. All right, this is a very, very new fragrance to my collection. This is by Truly and it is Vanilla Baby. So I grabbed this from Ulta not too long ago because I was like, ooh, vanilla. I like Truly's fragrances. I don't love them. I knew it wasn't going to be extremely complicated. And I think this is a pretty vanilla. This is supposed to have pear and pistachio, but really I just get a musky vanilla from this. There's a little bit of cedar wood. Again, it's not one that's too heavy. It's that perfect kind of mid-zone vanilla, a very, very easy wear and grab. I like this. I think people were a little disappointed because when they hear pistachio, they get really excited. It was a very hyped up note, and I really don't get pistachio from this. It's truly a musky vanilla. So I think it's a perfect one for this time of year. Like I said, it's not too heavy, not too sweet. And if you're looking for a vanilla like that, I would recommend it. And it is Vanilla Baby by Truly. Next we have House by Zernell Gilly. This is one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection. It is so amazing. So this is niche done in such a gorgeous, gorgeous way that I wish everyone would get their nose on this. I could wear this year round, to be honest, but I do think it's perfect this time of year. So this is kind of hard to classify because there are some fruity notes in it, but you cannot think traditional fruity with this. It has orange and raspberry in it, but it's a very unisex fragrance. So it's not like tropical fruity. It has tonka bean, it has saffron, it has heliotrope. It also has some cedar wood to it and some oud. So it's very, very alluring. Oh my goodness, when the wind hit me, this is another one that when I first wore it, I had a sample, the wind hit me and I was like, oh, I'm in on a full size immediately. This is one of my favorite little niche houses. I think he blends fragrances so uniquely and beautifully. This one, like I said, is very, very perfectly unisex. This is gonna sound really, really strange. There's an inky quality to this, like pen ink. It's just kind of in the background with it, but I remember as a kid, you know, getting out a brand new pen and that ink smell, I loved it, and it was a little bit addictive. That's kind of how I feel with this fragrance, and it is just, it's on its own. I don't have anything else that smells like this. I think it would be perfect on a man. I would encourage people to at least get a sample of this and check it out. It's a perfect time of year, in my opinion, to wear House by Zernell Gilly. Now this is another favorite in my collection. This is Elysian Lavender Milk Tea. This is a milky aromatic fragrance, and it is absolutely one of the most calming fragrances I've ever smelled. So you do have your lavender, you have milk, you have black tea, you have some cacao, you have a little bit of cinnamon, incense, and it is just like you have poured, you know, your hot tea, and then you add your little dollop of milk to it, maybe a cinnamon stick sitting in there. You have a little bit of incense in the background, and there's also a little amberette, so there's a little bit of warmth going on. It is so relaxing and calming to me. I recently took this on our family vacation to Dallas, where we went to Six Flags. And my oldest is a big daredevil. He wanted to ride all the craziest rides. Mr. Freeze, straight up to your death. Oh yeah, he's like, hi, waving down at me. I knew I needed something to calm my nerves, and I took a sample of this because I just was like, it's gonna calm me. This is a Zen fragrance for me. So I really, really love this for that. I think it's perfect for this time of year. It is, I would classify this as a cozy scent, but it's not like an exotic cozy necessarily. So I think it's perfect summer going into fall. That is Elysian Lavender Milk Tea. All right, and my very, very last one, I saved this for last because it is a very hard one for me to describe, and it's also hard for me to describe why I like this, because I probably shouldn't like this, but I find it very addictive. This is new to my collection. This is Narcisco Rodriguez's Rouge. And okay, little backstory. One of my scents that I loved in my early 20s was just the original Narcisco Rodriguez for her, the black bottle. And then as I started to get a little bit older, I thought, why do I like this? This is very kind of dated. It feels a little mature. So I turned my mom onto it, and she wore it for a while. Fast forward now to me being 41 years old. I kind of longed for this nostalgia. I could smell that for her, Narcisco Rodriguez for her in my head. And I started looking back into repurchasing it. And then I came across some reviews on this Rouge and I loved the bottle. I was so drawn to the red. So I blind bought this not that long ago. I should not like this fragrance, you guys. It is powdery, lipsticky, very heavy musk. But there is something about this on the skin that I cannot stop smelling it. I smell it because I'm trying to figure it out. I'm trying to figure out, do I love this? Do I hate this? Am I obsessed with this? Do I want to scrub it off? And because of that, I find it very, very addictive and intriguing. And I've ultimately decided I do really like this. And it's funny because not that long ago, I saw someone share it on Instagram and they basically said the same thing, that they didn't like it at first and now they're kind of obsessed with it and they can't explain why. So this has some orange blossom and jasmine, some rose. So there is some heavy floral going on here. But then you also have some tonka. You have the iris is powdery in here. You have heavy musk. You have some cedar. And it is this sort of vintage makeup-y lipstick sort of smell that I can't explain. It's sexy. It's confusing. It's mysterious. It is a little mature, but I also think I could really see myself, or I could see a lady in a black leather jacket and like a sexy red dress, some heels, some fishnets, wearing this and being really confident when she wears it, and that it would be a man magnet, but like women would kind of be a little jealous of her and also like, ew, I don't even like her perfume, but like men love it. It is such a strange fragrance for me. But I cannot wait to be wearing it because I think it's a little too heavy for summer. I've been testing it out and I'm like, ooh, when it gets colder, I'm gonna wear this. And I like a femme fatale sort of fragrance, but not everyone's gonna like this. But I'm happy to have this. And if you're adventurous with fragrance, or if you like more vintagey type of fragrances, then I would recommend this. It's harder to get these days, but you can get it on discount sites. So that is Narcisco Rodriguez Rouge. And that is it, you guys. Those are my 20 transition fragrances, summer to fall. Really excited to wear some of these. You guys have to go check out Cara and Kelly's videos. I'm very excited and interested to see what they choose. And I'll have another video coming up with just all fall fragrances, another collab video with a creator that I adore. So that is it, you guys. Let me know which of these you might pick up and try yourself. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping, and smelling fabulous. Bye.